Hello everyone, welcome to another video from tzeroplays TV, as you can see up here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be about gaming per se, but it's going to be about your gaming rig. And the reason this video is being made is because a lot of people in my community are primarily mobile gamers looking to break out into higher gaming options. And I say that with complete respect for mobile gaming. Because I do believe mobile gaming is going places as hardware keeps improving, but the state it is in currently, the players, there are a few good games, there are some good opportunities to enjoy gaming on a mobile phone, and that's fantastic because it brings gaming to a much larger community who maybe can't afford crazy next gen consoles or gaming PCs. But as it stands right now, as the state of the hardware is right now, mobile gaming still has a ways to go. And the point of this video is to see if you can in fact upgrade to a better gaming rig regardless of your budget. The assumptions I'm going to make are: you're a mobile gamer right now, you play Call of Duty or PUBG or whatever, Minecraft on your phone, and that you would love to have that console slash PC full gaming experience at some point. I'm going to assume that there's a time that you would think about upgrading your mobile phone or getting the next mobile phone, and we're going to see what we can do with that money, either instead of buying a new mobile phone or in spite of being a new mobile phone. What? Instead of or in spite of buying a new mobile phone. New mobile phone, not a new mobile phone, and not being a phone. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got there in the end though. The point is, this is a video to maybe expose some people to some of the options that are available out there. And yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so for this video, we're going to assume three different characters. We're going to have a look at these three different people who are trying to upgrade, right? First off, we have Devi. Devi is a badass superhero who unwinds by owning noobs in game when she's not owning noobs in real life. You know, she's pretty badass. She's been doing this for a while. She's stacked away a bit of money. She's got a side job that's very high paying because she's got the brains and the stonks. And but because she's part of the Zero Nation, she's also prudent and she's smart about how she spends her money. So she's a classy lady. She goes for the bangingest new phones. She's the most awesome new iPhone Max Pro Ultimate Super, whatever you call it. And her budget is $800 to $1,200 because that's generally a flagship phone is going to cost you around that much. It goes up to $1,400-$1,500, I know, but for $1,100 you can get an iPhone 12 Pro non-max, I think, and that's pretty good, right? So we're gonna assume that Devi here is thinking of buying the very next one, right? The new iPhone or the new top tier Samsung or whatever, and she's wondering if she can get a better mobile gaming experience or she can get an actual full gaming experience on a big screen and so on. So with that being said, Devi has three options, right? She's our top tier. We're going to go through two more people who are also in the same predicament but at different price ranges. Devi has the following options the way I see it, right? Option number one is she splits the money, buys a $600 phone and a $600 gaming rig. Okay, it's an option. Option number two is she keeps the current phone, doesn't upgrade it, and spends the whole $1,200 getting a gaming rig. Okay, it's getting a little bit interesting now. And option number three is buying a new phone for $1,200 and calling it a day because she's happy with mobile gaming and that's all she wants, but she wants that new phone though, right? Okay, now at this price point, I would say all three options are viable except the first one. Now, a person who has a $1,200 phone maybe wants the latest $1,200 phone, and that's more the focus, right? If your focus is that and not gaming, then yeah, go for it. You'll get the best mobile gaming experience, but you won't necessarily get the best gaming experience overall. So option number three, for me, if you have a $1,200 phone, chances are it's not going to go out of date. It's not going to stop being relevant anytime soon. It's going to last for about 3-4 years, maybe a little bit longer, provided you don't keep upgrading the operating system. Listen guys, no matter what mobile phone you are, do 1 or 2 operating system upgrades. After that, just stop, because the new operating systems will just end up being more demanding on your system and will require greater specs, and will slow your phone down for no reason, because in the previous operating system version, your phone was working fine. It was doing everything snappy. It was doing everything fast. It was doing everything, handling everything very well. There is no reason to upgrade your operating system more than a couple of times after you've bought it. Usually, unless you've done more research into it, don't bother, because most of your applications will continue working anyway, right? Unless there's a very, very big change in operating system and the applications have gone forward and then you're forced to upgrade. That's a different story. We're not going to get into that just yet. If she keeps the current phone and buys a $1,200 gaming rig, those are some good options, because her phone is already very good. She doesn't need a new one, right? And $1,000 to $1,200 is going to give you some very, very good options in terms of gaming rigs. It's not going to get you the best PC, but it's going to get you a pretty decent lower to mid-range PC, probably a mid-range PC actually. That's going to handle not only 1080p gaming effortlessly and flawlessly, but it'll also give you a lot of other options, like if you want to sit and learn programming and whatever else, or video editing even. $1,000 PC will do the job for you. I have configured $1,000 PC myself on uh, another website, an Indian website. And the reason I chose an Indian website is because India is usually expensive for PC parts because of the import taxes. So we can take a quick look at that in a second. But before that, let's talk about option one. You split the money and buy a $600 phone and $600 gaming rig. Here's the thing. This is actually not a terrible option either, and it really depends on what you want from your rig. If you want a new phone, if you actually have to have a new phone, say you've broken your old phone and it's too expensive to replace, $600 will still give you a very, very good. It won't give you a top tier phone, but it'll give you a higher mid range phone. And if you go for budget options, if you go for smarter options, I want to say in Android, in the Android category, you can get a One Plus, which is excellent value for money and fantastic performance. You can get, I mean, there are a number of options, Huawei and so on and so forth, depending on who you're comfortable with buying and so buying from and so on. So you can buy a very, very good $600 phone, or you can buy a second hand iPhone if that's your shtick. That's 2 years old, and that will still give you another 2 years of a proper working phone, right? The remaining $600 can go into a gaming rig. There are a few ways of going into a $600 gaming rig. If you want a PC, it's going to be hard to find a new PC for $600 that will do everything very well, right? You'll get a gaming rig that will do 1080p gaming for $600-700. You've got to add a monitor and a mouse and keyboard onto that. All things that can be done for another $100-150. But it's going to struggle when performing other tasks. It's not going to be able to video edit it quite that well. It's not going to be able to do a lot of other things that you would wish you could do. So I wouldn't recommend it. But if you do want that, a second-hand PC might be a better way of going about it, or a second-hand $900 laptop. Say you got a $900 laptop on eBay that someone's selling for $600. That's good, because a $900 to $950 laptop is going to be equivalent to that mid-range PC roughly. It's going to be slightly less performance, but it's going to do everything you want. We're talking about the options like Asus TUF Gaming, Acer Predator Helios. There's a couple of Dell options and a couple of cheaper Lenovo options. All of them are around the $800 to $1,000 mark. And if someone's bought it and is selling to you for cheaper, or you've got a sale of some sort and it's available for $600, that is what you should go for. Look out for sales, look out for secondhand deals on eBay or whatever website works wherever you live. And that's how you get a good $600 gaming rig. Don't go for a pre-built, because that's not going to be value. Don't go for, I mean, most of the time, I don't know about all the options available, but in my experience, most of the time pre-builds are not going to be worth it. The other way is, if you don't want a PC, if you just want gaming, right, you're not looking to expand into other areas of computing, then you could very easily go for top tier gaming. Like, you can get a PS5, you can get an Xbox Series X, provided you can get your hands on one, and that comes with the latest games and controller and 4K gaming and high refresh gaming and all that. So you got no issues there. This is not a bad option. $600 phone, if you absolutely have to buy a new phone, $600 is going to give you a very good phone, another $600. But you're going to have to be careful as to what you buy. Look for deals, and then you can find a good deal at $600 if you really look. A second-hand PC or a second-hand laptop is probably the way to go. If you want a machine that'll upgrade your gaming rig to good 1080p gaming, but also provide you options for doing various other things with your computer, which is what a PC is for. You can do a whole variety of things, a wide gamut of things, all types of computing, rendering, programming. You can learn tons of stuff on a PC. That's the whole point, right? It's a sandbox. You do what you want with it. That was Devi. Now let's have a look at our next person. This is Bob. Everyone, say hello to Bob. Bob is a simple man, as a working man. He's got a sweaty gaming alter ego when he's not at work. He's the local businessman. He builds houses, he fixes things and such. Uh, he's developed a little bit of a community reputation, and he's put aside a little bit of money. He's got a small business running, but he's very prudent with his finances, and he's very careful because it took him a long time to build up his wealth. So he's decided for whatever reason that he's got a budget of about $500 to $800. He's got a phone right now, and he's wondering what to do next to get that next level sweet gaming experience. So he's got three options as well, much like Davey. He can split the money and buy $400 phone and a $400 gaming rig. Okay. He can keep the current phone and buy us $800 gaming rig, or buy a new phone for the $800 amount. Now, here's the thing. I would rule out option three because unless again he has to upgrade, chances are if he bought a phone for 500 to $800 the last time around, he's not going to need an upgrade depending on how far back he bought it. For example, case in point, the webcam right now is basically my OnePlus 6T. It's a 2-year-old phone that cost me, I believe, less than $600 last time around when I bought it. It's still very good. It's very snappy. It handles all my tasks with much aplomb. Doesn't crash. Uh, Plays COD Mobile and PUBG and stuff just fine. It's a very good phone, and it certainly hasn't been lacking as far as performance is concerned. So buying a new phone is only, yeah, if he doesn't want a gaming rig, that is the next level, which is not what we're talking about today, right? So option two, as we see, is keeping the current phone and buying an $800 gaming rig. This actually gives him a lot of options. He can either buy the best console out there if he can get his hands on it, or he can buy a lesser console and save money if that's what he wants. Maybe to save money for next year when he can buy an even better gaming rig. I don't know. Or he can go for $800 and he has a couple of PC options. One is to get a decent low end laptop. Right, you can get a decent low-end laptop, gaming laptop for about $800. It's not going to be fantastic, but it's going to be pretty good for what 1080p low spec to medium spec gaming. Probably not high refresh rate, but it'll do 60 FPS just fine. But you'll get a laptop that can handle other things as well. For $800, you can even configure a decent gaming PC, depending on what you want to do. If you want a pure gaming rig only, then you can get a even you can get a cheap $700-800 PC that'll do gaming just fine. Or you can spend a little bit more money and get something that does a whole bunch of other things as well. The whole point of a PC is that it's a sandbox that allows you to do a whole bunch of things, not just gaming, right? So you want to make sure that you have a PC that has an upgrade path built in to the components, where you can maybe save up money over another year and buy some better parts. But $800 will get you a pretty decent low to mid range PC. Second-hand PCs, deals, second-hand laptops, definitely worth keeping an eye out for. The advantage of buying a gaming laptop is that you get the keyboard, you get a trackpad, but you can't really game with the trackpad, not really. But you get a keyboard and a screen with it, so you save on some money right there. So all you have to do is buy a mouse. And if you're thinking, yeah, but gaming mice are expensive, that's not true. You can get a $40 Logitech G102 or something like that. It's a very, very good gaming mouse. It's wired and it'll set it $30-40. It's not expensive. For that matter, the mouse I use, the G305, it's a wireless mouse that looks really nice and clean. See if you can see that. Yeah. It's got DPI shifting options. It's got the Logitech sensor, which is very, very good. And it's a really good mouse, right? It supports up to 1000 uh, refresh rate, 1000 hertz refresh rate for the sensor and so on. It's really good, and that's not more than $60, this thing. So honestly, there are some pretty good options out there for cheap gaming mice. You don't have to get the biggest and baddest and the most RGB and so on, because I mean, a little RGB is good because you want that RGB performance. You know what I'm saying? You need a little bit of swag. But $800 will get you a lower end laptop or a slightly higher than lower end laptop on sale, or a second hand $1,200-1,300 laptop. That will be a good deal. Or a second hand PC. $800 will also start allowing you to build your own PC with decent specs. I'm talking possibly Ryzen 5 3600 when the prices come down a little bit, with a decent motherboard, maybe a 1660 Super if you get a deal, 16 gigs of RAM. I suggest not going lower than 16 gigs of RAM no matter what you get. If you get a laptop with 8 gigs, upgrade the RAM. If you get a PC, get 16 gigs minimum. Trust me, you don't want any less than that, no matter what anybody else says. In this day and age, the more RAM you have is actually forever, the more RAM you have, the better, right? So $800, this is actually a very good option. Keep your current current phone, because it's already a pretty good phone, and spend the $800 on the gaming rig. Otherwise, split the money, buy a $400 phone, $400 gaming rig. Okay, for him, unless he has to buy a new phone, I would not recommend this, because you're skimping out on your gaming rig and you're buying a $400 phone. You're downgrading. Your phone's not going to be too bad if it was $600. Keep your current phone unless you've broken it to pieces and you have to buy a new one. $400 will still get you a decent phone. $400 will get you that $600 phone that you bought last year, but with a discount, right? That's probably worth about $450 right now. So do that, and then for the remaining $400, if you want, if that's the option you're going with, that's not a bad option, because you can do one of two things. One, you can buy a new PS4, or you can buy an old PS4 for like I'd say between $200 and $300. You can look for deals. It's all over eBay and so on. You can get a second-hand PS4 with games and probably a controller or two thrown in as well. It's a good option. If you get a PS4 Pro, that is 4K 30 FPS gaming, I think, but don't quote me on that. But that's a good system that you're getting for cheap. You can get probably for $300, $350 with some games thrown in. That is a good deal. But you know what's a better deal? Xbox One S. Xbox One S, for those of you who don't know, is the small brother of the Xbox One X, Series X, that's just out right now. But it is a very, very capable 1080p resolution console. It can't do 4K, but that's fine, because 1080p gaming is perfectly fine. High refresh rate 1080p, hell yes, it's very, very good. And Xbox One S has something going for it. The Xbox One S comes with, or doesn't come with, but gives you the option to buy the Xbox Game Pass. And that means that for a few bucks every month, a few dollars every month, you can get access to a variety of games that they give you, and you can play them however long you want. And these are like top tier games, AAA games. They're adding to the games every month. So that's actually a really good way. If you don't want to spend $20, $30 at one shot to buy one particular game, the Game Pass is something that is fantastic, makes a very compelling case for the Xbox One S, because you get something for $250 now, right? That's the price of the Xbox One S, and you get the Game Pass suddenly for $250 plus, I think, under $10 a month, like $5 a month. You get a whole bunch of games as well. Get the console experience, get that nice little Xbox controller, which is really, really nice, and you're good to go. And you have money left over from your $400 budget. That's actually a really good option. Now let's go over to our third option, right? Our third option is Ichigo. Ichigo-san is a man with a purpose. He fights evil, but his purpose takes him through a pathway in life that gets him no money whatsoever. As you can see, his clothes are in tatters. He's always fighting someone, and he's always living on the street. He probably hunts for his food, I don't know. But he's very honorable and all that, and he wants to have a little bit of a gaming experience, right? His budget is only $200 to $400, and I suspect a lot of people are going to come into this budget not because they're fighting evil and making no money, but because they're in their early to mid teens or late teens and they don't have that kind of money. But maybe they can convince their parents, or maybe they can save up enough money from their allowance or from their little side jobs like delivering the paper or mowing lawns or something. I don't know, whatever you do in your part of the world to gain a little bit of money. You can probably save up $200 to $400 over time, and then maybe your parents will chip in a little bit as well for this. Now, Ichigo has more limited options, obviously, right? So the first option is buying a new phone. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can if you want to, and forego the gaming experience completely and stick to buying a phone. But if your phone is good and it still continues gaming and this thing and handling applications reasonably well, I would say leave it be, right? It's not the best experience. It's not going to be the best experience. Just leave it be. Option number two, keep the current phone and buy the $200 to $400 gaming rig. That's it. Those are the two options. He doesn't have the option, the third option of just spending. Well, that's all the money he's got. What else is he going to do? He's going to keep the phone, sure, but then you're not getting an upgrade to your gaming rig. You're not getting an upgrade to your phone rig. So there's only two options. The first option, buying a new phone for $200 to $400, is fine if you want to stick to mobile gaming. But the whole point of this video is for you to try and improve your gaming experience by going to the big leagues, right? The big leagues being console and PC gaming in the current day. Keep your current phone and buy a $200 $400 gaming rig is probably the best option, because again, for $200 to $400 you get that Xbox One S, you get the Game Pass, or you get an old PS4, or you get an old Xbox for cheap with games, and you can buy second-hand games from your local store, because that's the advantage of having a console that takes in discs, Blu-ray discs or CDs or whatever, right? Is that you can buy cheap CDs, you can buy second-hand games, and they work out to be a lot cheaper, and you can get access to the best games of the past few years. There's also usually deals on the online store to buy games for cheap. Look out for those deals and buy them. If you want to play Apex Legends and Fortnite and stuff, these games are free and they run on console pretty well, so you can just do that. You have access to that gaming experience for between $200 and $400 depending on what you buy. Look out for the deals, get a gaming rig. At this price point, I wouldn't say buy a PC, because a $300 PC you can get. Okay, so you can configure a $400 PC just for gaming, but it's not going to do anything else. Okay, it's not going to do anything else really well, right? It's not going to be able to pull its weight in video editing, or I mean, you could still learn programming and stuff. You can learn programming on an absolute pepega piece of hardware. It doesn't matter, right? So there is still benefit to buying a PC, but I would say save up more money for a PC or just get the console for now. If you can do $600 to $800 for a PC, then you start getting options that have an upgrade path, which means you can wait till next year and then upgrade your PC and have a better rig in the future. That's what I would recommend. But in this range, if you want to improve your gaming experience, then consoles are the way for you, right? So, just to sum it up, between the three options, that's Bob, Devi, and Ichigo, right? You've got three different price points. If you're like Ichigo on the very, very lower end of the price point spectrum, that's $200 to $400, then you're probably better off with a console, either a second-hand previous generation console or an Xbox One S. Or if someone's selling an Xbox One X for cheap, which is not going to happen, let's face it. I mean, you can barely get one first-hand, let alone second-hand. That's your option. If you're like Bob, you're in the mid-tier range, then you need to probably look at second-hand laptop deals or second-hand PC deals, or go for the best console that you can get, which is a PS5 and Xbox Series X. If you can get your hands on it for $500, go for that. Don't buy from scalpers, buy from a retail store, wait for it and get it. That's going to be the best experience you get. If you want something that is more versatile and can do more things, build a PC, wait for specs, wait for price drops in certain PC parts, and build a PC. If you want to know how to build a good PC, then I can sort of guide you through what might be a good idea in another video. If you want that, then drop a comment and ask me for it, and I'll make another video and we'll explore the options for PC building together. A console, top tier PS5, Xbox Series X, it's going to be great. 4K 60 hertz gaming experience, 1080p 144 hertz 120 hertz gaming experience, whatever it is, high refresh rate. You'll get the best gaming experience there is on the console market right now. If you're like Devi and you have a balling mobile phone and you're looking for a balling rig, $1,200, then you got no issues. You got lots of options. You can actually build a PC and go for an Xbox Series X if you really wanted to and get the Game Pass bundle. So there are lots of options. You can, and then we get into territory of how to make your PC, how to configure that PC. So then it really depends on what you want to do with it, and we'll cover that in another video. I hope this has been of some use to you. I've been going on for a little while on this video, and I hope that it's sort of clear to you based on what price range you have, what you can do, what your options are. Yeah, I hope you have some good stuff to take away from this, and I hope to see you on the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, but above all else, stay colorful and happy gaming. Bye.